If you stumbled on the channel, firstly, I want to say thank you and that I love coasters. My name is Avery and this is United Coasters. I've been on my home park Six Flags Fiesta, Texas countless times. Not only there, but SeaWorld San Antonio, Six Flags Over Texas, Busch Gardens Tampa, and SeaWorld Orlando. I plan on adding to my coaster count in the near future, but today I'd like to start a series by going park to park and talking about all the coasters that I've ridden there. Let's start off with Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. Alright, let's get this out of the way on the first video to my channel. I'm a coaster enthusiast, but not a coaster enthusiast that rides kiddie coasters. This is particularly because I think it's annoying for the ride operator and more importantly awkward for the parents of their children to wait for you to get on a ride and it's a kiddie ride. With that being said, I have not ridden Streamliner Coaster. So moving on, let's talk about Roadrunner Express. This is the perfect transition for young enthusiasts and it's one of the best mine train rides that I've been on. It also takes advantage of the quarry wall along with a second lift hill that adds a breather before the second half. Iron Rattler sits next to Roadrunner and is arguably the best ride in the park. You know how some people get those butterflies in their stomachs when they're in a roller coaster? Yeah, that doesn't happen to me, except on this ride. And this was the first wave of the RMC conversion. It also uses the quarry wall, and to me, it's considered to be one of the best complete packages in the park. Moving on, you have Boomerang Coast to Coaster. Yeah, this is the Vekoma Boomerang, so there's not really that much to talk about it. It hurts my head, feels way too rough to be at an awesome park, and I'm looking forward to the new modifications in the near future with better vest restraints. I avoid this coaster when I go to the park, unless I'm riding with friends who have never been on it. Next up is Goliath. This is yet another Batman clone coaster that can be seen at a litany of other Six Flags parks. Fun fact, it's also there at SeaWorld San Antonio. They're way better than Vekoma Boomerangs, but at the same time, the only difference is the speed, location, trims, etc. And this location is on the verge of being a parking lot coaster at Fiesta, Texas. Further in the park, you have Poltergeist. This coaster recently got a major revamp in both color and theming. This is another one of my favorite coasters at this park, boasting a stat of 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. I know that it's also considered a clone, but I believe the scarcity of these types of coasters allows it to be a more unique experience. You understand what I mean when I talk about the next two coasters. Up next is Pandemonium. This is an overly cloned spinning coaster, but it's also a fun and unique one every time you ride it. I would recommend this for people who have never been on a coaster, as it's essentially a spinning ride on a rail. The forces that your body undergoes on it changes every time, and I feel that you can have a conversation with your friends while you're on it. The next coaster that I've been to is Batman the Ride. I believe the only saving grace about this ride is the queue line, and that's saying a lot for a Six Flags park, as they haven't particularly focused on theming in the past. This is the first 4D free spin ever built, and the most unpredictable ride that I've ever been on so far. The amount of flips feels completely random to me, and although I enjoy riding this with my friends, I can never be on a coaster like this by myself. I tend to avoid this when I can. As I mentioned before, this ride has been cloned to death, and I don't believe there's that much of a difference, just like Goliath. The second to last coaster in this park is Wonder Woman Golden Lasso. This is an RMC Raptor, one of its first of its kind, by like a couple of days. It's since been cloned in other parks, but the original is an extreme coaster that does not allow you to catch your breath. I love the location over the water, and it brings up a unique backdrop of the coaster. Finally, you have the longest and fastest coaster in the park, Superman Crits On Coaster. This ride sports massive elements and gives you a real sense of speed better than most coasters in the park. This B&M Floorless coaster is a cherry on top of other Fiesta Texas coasters. The newest ride coming this year is Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. I will have all the latest news for this ride in the future, so make sure you subscribe and like the video. I hope that my brief conversation on this coaster collection has piqued your interest in going to this amazing park. That being said, I hope that you stick around to see other amazing parks that I mentioned in the future. And as always, remember to stay united.